Mom stood up holding a glass. Her diamonds caught the light shining brightly. She spoke to my sister, Diana. Her voice was soft but clearly rehearsed and sharp underneath. "She is the daughter I am proud of," Mom announced. The entire table immediately erupted. There was applause, loud laughter, and a low hum of approval. I also clapped. It was a small, polite movement. My pulse beat hard in my throat. Then the waiter slid a black folder directly toward me. The bill was $1,980. It sat heavy on the white table linen. My sister smirked. Cameras clicked quickly. Every single eye in the room turned to stare at me. I felt heat crawl up my neck and face. Shame mixed strongly with genuine rage. I did not argue right then. That night I just decided paying to belong would be over. I grew up in a house that looked absolutely perfect from the sidewalk. It had fresh paint and carefully trimmed hedges. The smell of lilacs filled the air every spring. Inside that house, perfection came with a high price tag. I learned quickly who received the premium version of love. My sister Diana was the shining one. She had gold hair and an easy smile. She was the kind of child adults always wanted to photograph. When relatives visited, they would pinch her cheek. They would say, "She is already a star." Then their eyes would quickly land on me. "Audrey is the smart one," they would add later. They said this as if it balanced the equation somehow. My mother, Evelyn, liked everything to be extremely polished. This included the house, the dinner table, and even our emotions. She often stated that chaos was ugly. Whenever I started crying, Mom would hand me a napkin. She would whisper, "Sweetheart, do not make a scene. Show grace under pressure." Dad, Robert, usually just nodded behind his large newspaper. He was not cruel at all. He was simply absent during all the ways that really mattered. One summer when I turned 12, Diana decided she wanted ballet lessons. Mom signed her up immediately. It was the best dance studio in town. It had glass walls so everyone could clearly watch their daughters spin. I asked if I could attend science camp instead. Mom smiled tightly at my request. "That is too expensive, honey," she said. "You can join the free program offered at the local library." That summer, I built flimsy paper rockets. Diana twirled gracefully under bright spotlights. She received flowers every single Friday. I got picked up late most days. Mom was still clapping enthusiastically for Diana's latest performance. This became our basic rhythm. Diana asked for things and she received them. I learned to fix, to fill, and to just make do. I stitched it quickly when she ripped a new dress. I ran back fast to grab anything Mom forgot. My reward was exactly the same every time. "Audrey, you are such a help." Helpful became my professional job title, long before I earned a real salary. High school made the gap between us much deeper. Diana attended every school dance wearing a brand new gown. I wore the very same black dress for 3 years straight. I hemmed it shorter each spring season. She drove a car when she turned 16. I rode the bus instead. I told myself that independence was truly better than deep envy. When college time arrived, Mom and Dad covered all of Diana's tuition and her rent without blinking. For me, they gave a different message. They said, "You are so responsible. You will manage this perfectly." I took overnight shifts working at a care home facility. I slept through many lectures. I ran constantly on black coffee and quiet resentment. On graduation day, I sent home pictures of myself in my cap and gown. They chose not to attend the ceremony. Mom texted me later. "We are so proud of Diana. Her Austin photo session went great." That message was clearly not meant specifically for me, but I still received it anyway. I still kept loving them anyway. I called home every week. I sent thoughtful birthday gifts. I showed up at Thanksgiving dinners. I baked the pies after working 12-hour shifts. Mom would always tell me, "Audrey, you work too much. You really should smile more like your sister." I would laugh it off quickly. I pretended her words did not sting at all. Luke entered my life during one of those long hospital nights. He noticed me before I could start performing my usual helpfulness. He once said, "You move like someone always waiting for permission." I did not understand his meaning until much later on. Looking back now, the warning signs were truly everywhere. Family dinners often featured my chair placed a little to the side. My words were usually just background noise during conversations. I kept hoping adulthood would eventually even the scales. I thought maybe they would finally see me if I built a stable life. I rented a small apartment in Seattle. I filled it with thrifted furniture and genuine peace. I sent money home to them whenever they asked. I believed that helping was clear proof of my love. But the more I continually gave, the less I seemed to exist. Sometimes late at night, I would scroll through Diana's social media. I saw her perfect vacations and her various brand deals. I saw her grateful posts about family financial support. The same parents who insisted money was extremely tight were actively paying for her new car. I would feel intense anger rise up. Then I felt immediate guilt for feeling it. Mom's voice came back into my head. Audrey, do not be jealous. It is not attractive. I swallowed that phrase down for many years. I thought silence was the same as strength. I thought being good would absolutely earn me space at their dinner table. I was wrong about that. By the time I turned 30, I had stopped expecting any fairness. However, I had not stopped hoping for it. That was my major mistake. Hope made every mom's phone call feel like a major test. I kept consistently failing it. It always began sounding sweet. How is work going, honey? You must be exhausted now. You are such a good daughter. Then the real reason for the call always arrived. Listen, your sister has had a tough month. Her rent is late again. Could you please help her out just this once? The first few times this happened, I sent the money immediately without hesitation. I convinced myself it was pure kindness. But kindness without strong boundaries is simply obedience dressed up nicely. Each transfer left me feeling emptier. This emptiness was not just in my bank account. It was somewhere much deeper inside. I felt like I was paying a regular fee to keep my place in the family unit. Luke noticed this pattern. He would watch me hang up the phone. He would ask, "Was that mom or your employer?" I would force a laugh. "It is the same difference," I would reply. He did not smile at all. "Audrey, they only call you when they require something. That is not love, that is just dependence." He was totally right about that. I truly hated that he was right. I was not prepared to face what that actually meant for me. The next family dinner took place at a downtown steakhouse. Diana breezed in very late. She wore sunglasses inside and kissed everyone's cheeks. "Sorry, filming ran long," she announced loudly. She did not apologize to the waiter. He had been hovering nearby with menus for 20 minutes. She did not need to apologize. She was clearly the center of gravity in the room. When the check finally arrived, it slid across the polished table. It stopped directly in front of me like it knew its exact destination. Dad cleared his throat slightly. Mom said lightly, "Audrey, would you mind taking care of this? You always take care of us so well." Everyone smiled, waiting for me to perform my usual role. I paid the bill. Of course, I paid the bill, but something inside me definitely shifted. It was a hairline crack that I did not fully notice yet. Afterward, Luke squeezed my hand hard in the parking lot. "Why do you allow them to treat you like a hired employee?" he asked. I said nothing in response. The words family and obligation tangled painfully in my throat. Weeks later, Mom called me again. "Audrey, sweetie, Diana's car broke down. Dad and I are short on money until next payday. Can you cover the repair costs? We promise we will pay you back." They never repaid me that money. I began tracking the entire pattern. I did it not on paper, but only inside my head. Rent, car maintenance, gifts, lavish dinners, and emergencies that were never real emergencies. The quickly accumulating numbers added up to deep resentment. Then the subtle insults started. I told them about my promotion to charge nurse. Mom replied, "That is great, dear. Do not overwork yourself. You will never hold on to a husband doing that." Diana secured a minor brand partnership soon after. Mom posted the news on social media. "So proud of my creative girl chasing her dreams." I felt completely invisible. I was unseen even in the digital photos. Dad tried to defend Mom once. "Your mother wants peace," he said. I laughed at his comment. "Her peace means I pay for it." He did not reply to me. The last time I refused a request, Mom sighed deeply. The sigh sounded practiced. "Audrey, you changed," she accused. "You were generous before." I almost apologized immediately. I stopped myself quickly. "Maybe I am finally fair to myself," I said instead. She ended the call without speaking a word. The silence between us stretched out tight. It felt thin and sharp, ready to snap at any moment. Diana's 30th birthday invitation arrived. It was an embossed card with gold letters. It included a photo of her in sequins. One line at the bottom made my stomach twist up. It read, "Formal dinner, family only." Luke raised an eyebrow at the card. "You are going?" he asked me. "I always go," I replied. It is what good daughters must do. My voice showed my serious doubt. I was tired of being the good daughter. I was tired of being dependable. I was tired of cleaning up emotional messes. I was tired of paying for love that never came. I did not know yet that this dinner would be my final performance. That night, Mom raised her glass. I would finally stop my applause. The chosen restaurant was meant to impress guests. Soft jazz played quietly. Tables had white linen cloths. Chandeliers made everyone's skin look gold. I wore a navy dress I bought on sale. It showed I made an effort but did not try excessively. I walked into the room. Mom was already setting up the seating chart. She acted like she hosted a major gala event. Diana stood by the cake. Her sequins sparkled. She looked like she swallowed the spotlight whole. She gave me a perfumed hug and smiled. "You made it," she said. "I was not sure you would finish work." Her real message was clear. She was not sure I mattered enough to attend. Dinner was long and loud. Wine poured freely for everyone. Laughter echoed across the room. I remained quiet at the table. I nodded at conversations where I had no part to play. Dad checked his watch every 10 minutes. Mom floated between seats constantly. She put her hand on various shoulders. She demonstrated perfect hostess energy. Her eyes found me often. She seemed to evaluate me. She was calculating something about me. Then the lights went down slightly. A waiter rolled in the large cake. Candles flickered like small suns. Mom stood up with her glass raised high. Her diamond bracelet caught the chandelier light. It scattered light across the room. "To my daughter, Diana," she stated. Her voice was smooth and full of pride. "She is the daughter I am proud of. She is the one who always shines." The applause started before her final words finished landing. I clapped automatically. It was a reflex action. My palms felt cold and stiff. Laughter, cheers, and camera flashes blurred everything in my view. My chest felt tight and constricted. The air felt heavy. Then I noticed a small movement near me. A waiter wore a pressed black vest. He stepped forward. He set a leather folder directly in front of me. "Miss Ward," he whispered quietly. The room did not become silent right away. It definitely shifted, though. I felt the change happen instantly. Heads turned toward me. Eyes flicked away quickly. Lips twitched in surprise. I opened the folder. The cost was $1,980. My pale reflection looked back from the glossy paper. A cousin whispered, "Is that for you?" Mom gave her fixed holiday photo smile. "Audrey has it covered," she announced. "She always takes care of the family." Thin, uneasy laughter rippled through the guests. Diana took a sip of her champagne glass. She smirked at me then. "It is tradition, right?" That single word exploded something quiet inside my mind. I looked at Dad. He pretended to adjust his napkin on his lap. The air felt hot. It was heavy with perfume and high expectation. The sound of silverware seemed very far away. It was not truly about the money cost. It was about the math itself. Years of subtraction had happened. Everything was taken from me. My hands stayed steady as I closed the folder. Mom leaned close to me. She whispered, "Do not embarrass us, Audrey. Pay the bill now." That is when something inside me stopped obeying them. I took a deep breath. It felt like breaking the surface after drowning had occurred. The room still buzzed loudly. Everyone waited for the usual result. They waited for me to get my wallet. They waited for the performance to continue. I did not move at all this time. I sat very still. I watched Mom enjoy her own toast. I decided if she wanted a public show, I would give her one she would never forget. I pushed my chair back from the table. The sound sliced through the chatter. A few heads turned toward me. Some forks froze midair. Mom looked up at me. Her smile remained fixed in place. It was that public smile meaning everything is fine while she plots how to keep it that way. "Sit down, Audrey," she said quietly. "Do not make a scene now." I stayed standing. My voice came out calm. It was too calm, perhaps. "If Diana is the daughter you are proud of," I said, "then let your pride cover the cost tonight." The laughter instantly died away. Somewhere a spoon hit a plate, then came total silence. It was wide and heavy. Mom's lips pressed together tightly. "Audrey, please," she insisted. "This is not about the dinner," I stated. "It is about the math, years of subtraction. Every single dress, every trip, every bailout came from my bank account." Dad shifted his napkin. It crumpled in his hands. "Sweetheart, stop now." "No," I told him. I turned to face Dad. "You had your chance to speak up. You always chose silence. Tonight, I stop covering the bill for your silence." Diana's voice was small and defensive. "Why are you doing this on my birthday?" I looked at her truly. Perfect makeup, expensive gown, total confidence. She never had to earn applause. "Because the performance is the same every year," I said, "and I am the one paying the price for all the tickets." She blushed strongly. Her eyes darted toward Mom for backup. Mom put her glass down gently. "We raised you, Audrey. You owe this family respect." "Respect?" I asked her. "You toast one daughter and then hand the check to the other one. That is not respect. That is humiliation with a service fee included." A few relatives stared at their plates. One aunt whispered, "She is right." She blushed hard and looked at her wine. The waiter stood near the doorway. He looked unsure if he should intervene. I picked up the leather folder. I opened it slowly. I slid a few bills inside the folder. "This covers what I ordered," I explained. "My drink, my piece of cake, and a generous tip for the staff." I closed the folder. I placed it in front of Mom. "Charge the rest to family pride." Diana gasped sharply. Mom's eyes grew wider. I saw panic flash. "You are overreacting," Mom whispered. Her voice trembled under its polished surface. "I used to think that," I replied. "Every time you told me not to be jealous, every time you said not to make a scene, every time you said not to ask for more than scraps. This is not a scene, though. This is an audit." I looked around at the table. "Add it up yourselves, all the times you celebrated her and shamed me. Every dollar, every dinner, every be a good girl and pay. This is the balance due now." Someone coughed slightly. The chandelier hummed faintly. The sound was like the world waiting to breathe out. Mom whispered, "You are ungrateful." "Gratitude without limits is slavery," I said. "I am done performing obedience." I gathered my purse. I smoothed the napkin on my empty chair. I turned toward the waiter. "Please split the bill properly," I requested. "I will not cover the family tonight." He nodded once. It looked almost respectful. Diana reached out to me. Her voice broke. "Audrey, please do not do this, not this way." I met her eyes. "I did not do this, Diana," I stated. "You all did this, every time you watched and said nothing." Dad stood halfway up. He then sat down again quickly. "Let us just calm down," he muttered softly. "Calm," I said, "is how we got to this point." No one moved. No one spoke. Even the candles seemed to hold still. I felt something inside me finally click into place. Anger melted into clarity. I did not feel smaller now. I felt precise. I placed my hand on the back of my chair. "If respect is the admission price," I said quietly, "I will not pay to be diminished." Then I walked past the cake. I walked past the cameras. I walked past the stunned faces. The thick carpet muffled every step I took until I reached the door. Behind me, chairs scraped. Voices collided. Mom called my name. Dad apologized to the waiter. Diana cried softly. None of the noise affected me. Outside, the night air felt like cold water. My breath came out sharp and clean. The city glittered. It looked indifferent and honest. I kept walking forward. Each step felt lighter than the last one. Silence followed me out, but it was not a punishment this time. It was genuine peace. The next morning, sunlight streamed through my blinds. It was too bright for the little sleep I got. My phone blinked. Messages stacked up like dominoes. Dad messaged first. "We should not have let it go that far. I am sorry for my silence." I read the text twice. It was the first time he admitted the truth. Silence equaled participation. Diana's text came next. "I did not know it felt like that for you. I am sorry." A picture of her half-eaten birthday cake followed. The candles were bent like a soft apology. I typed back slowly. "The spotlight hides the true costs. Maybe now you will see them clearly." Mom did not text me at all. Not one word or period. Just a social media notification appeared. A new post. A photo of the restaurant was captioned, "Family is always worth celebrating." The comment section filled with hearts. I did not react to it. I walked to my favorite coffee shop instead. The place had chipped mugs and quiet mornings. Dad was already there waiting. He stirred his coffee cup. He looked like it might buy him more time. He looked up at me. He did not start with excuses this time. "How do we fix this situation?" he asked me. I told him the honest truth. "You start by noticing things, then you speak up next time it happens." He nodded. His eyes were wet. Weeks passed quickly. The world did not fall apart. The boundaries held firm. Mom called once. Her voice was brittle and tense. "I do not know what I should say," she admitted. "You do not have to say anything," I told her. "Just stop handing me the check." At home, I unpacked a small envelope. It held a therapy appointment confirmation. I pinned it to the refrigerator. I placed it beside a photo of Luke and me at the lake. The wind was in our hair. No performance was required there. For the first time, my peace did not feel borrowed from anyone. It felt truly earned by me. One evening, weeks later, I sat on my balcony. I had a cup of tea. City lights flickered below. The air was cool and still quiet. The quiet used to scare me. Now it sounded exactly like freedom. My phone buzzed again suddenly. It was another family group message. I chose not to open it. I did not need to know. I knew what peace cost me now. For once, I had paid only my own fair share. I thought about that night. The toast, the smirk, the silence, how everyone waited for me to shrink back into the version of myself they could control. But I did not shrink. I stood up tall. The room went silent, not because they won anything. It went silent because I finally stopped playing along with them. Walking away is sometimes louder than shouting. Silence can be justice. The same silence that once crushed me now holds me steady.